Hey guys, how's it going?
Morning, Al.
Hey,
So this week we have our very special guest once again, almost like a third co-host here, Matt Hubbard.
ooh,
So
I'm gonna add that to my signature line. Almost co-host. I like it.
That's good, man. Good to be together separately.
yeah, exactly. Physical distancing is what.
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah,
learned last week.
yeah.
Yeah,
The distancing.
I needed some physical distancing from Scott after that massive road trip we took.
Oh yeah, you guys were kind of. I think your hashtag was Tommy Boy Road Trip or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Tommy Boy Sales Road Trip 2020. So, not that we were doing the things that David Spade and Chris Farley were doing, but
And
we
no
were having
hitting
a
each
good
other
time.
across the face with a board.
We weren't selling brakes, but
Yeah, well, I guess what we'll do is we'll just kind of fill everybody in about what this episode's about. This episode is basically just a catch up of everything that Funspot's doing because we have our hands in so many cookie jars right now. And I thought we would bring on the two guys that would be able to tell you and every cookie jar that we do have our hands in, and kind of tell of their adventures and just kind of give you guys an idea of exactly where we're headed because we got some big things boiling. So
yeah.
without further ado, so let's talk about your big trip that you had. You had a couple trips actually, but let's talk about your latest trip, your big adventure. So where all did you guys go?
So Matt and I hopped in the car on a Saturday morning and
Okay.
drove up to Asheville and then Sevierville and then Knoxville. I think we spent the night in Knoxville, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
And then from Knoxville we did Louisville and Clarksville, Indiana,
right.
and then up to
Elizabethtown. We stopped there.
Elizabethtown, Kentucky, E-Town, I understand it's called.
Yeah, which
So,
is right next to Fort Knox.
that's right. We did. The owner at Sky's the Limit drove us by and pointed at Fort Knox. So
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
cool.
about as close as we could get was from the highway.
yeah, that was kind of cool. Much smaller than I thought. I was a little underwhelmed, honestly.
All the gold's buried underground, Scott.
Okay, so it like spreads out.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't
Got
need a trampoline park inside Fortnite.
That would be
and then we headed up to Columbus, where we went to a couple suburbs, one in Mansfield, one in Heath. And then the whole reason for our trip was we have a customer who's building a large multi-sport facility in the Columbus area at a mall in a former Sears. And as part of that building is putting in a trampoline park. And so we were doing a pre-site visit. And so that was pretty neat to see that building coming up and really kind of getting the vision for the space that this particular trampoline adventure park is going to be.
It was also cool to see how I feel like going forward, what malls are more going to be looking like, having some sort of entertainment venue as part of a shopping center, I think is going to be a must in order for malls to survive going forward. So I'd expect as J.C. Penney's or Macy's, rest in peace, start to explode. I don't know what my mom's going to do. I don't know where she'll go.
My mom is having withdrawals. So
Right.
yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't know where she's going to get her shoes that she'll never wear again. So
right. But I
Yeah.
think the huge benefit to the malls themselves and the shoppers that go there they're gonna have this entertainment venue that they once didn't have specific to this one in Columbus. They're gonna have hardwood courts, volleyball courts, indoor soccer, physical therapy, physical training, like for sports training.
Mhm.
So just the whole gambit, along with this entertainment element with a trampoline park, ropes course, climbing walls. I mean, you name it. You can have a birthday party there. You can have a corporate event. Pretty much
Yeah,
anything.
and Fieldhouse USA is our customer out there. We're actually already building a project for them up in Auburn, Washington. This is their second facility up in Columbus, Ohio. Their trampoline park brand is going to be called Air House. So I'm excited to see them, in progress, and is really, I think, good news that in the midst of where we're seeing some falter for lots of reasons, primarily economic, there are also some people able to build.
Yeah, it's been good to see them. I mean, timing was probably the best for them because they were still kind of in that planning stage when this all happened. But and by the time they open, we all hope that this is sort of under control, and behind us. So it'll be good.
Yeah. So that was so we got up there, we finished that, and then we kind of really made a beeline back to Greenville, and
in a hurry. We were like, I think you had a little bit too much EDM. I had a little bit too much country, so we made it back pretty quick.
Yeah.
Are those the music choices you guys make?
Yeah, Matt listens to some EDM. I typically like some country or some, just a little not EDM.
Well, I think you guys should collab and make EDM country, and you'll be fine. So.
Yeah, I remember the first country music song I heard where the guy was rapping. I thought, wow, that was some real cognitive dissonance there.
Yeah, right. That's an oxymoron. Yeah. So,
but yeah, so good stuff. I mean, some of the things that Matt and I saw that we talked about were, we did this in a LinkedIn post that Matt and I did together. But really just wanted to share some ideas and thoughts that we saw. I mean, we saw a dozen different parks, both parks that we've built and parks we didn't build. And one of the things that I think that we saw that some parks did really well and others had opportunity with had to do with how they branded inside their park. And I think there's some opportunity for not a lot of spend as guests are coming back into parks to put your name, put your brand as much as you can inside the four walls of your facility where people are sitting down taking pictures. So that shows up and is posted and helps your brand through social media marketing and other.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest opportunities is like, especially in the party rooms, right? Parties in general are your opportunity from a park's perspective to market to usually 10 to 15 other kids who may not have come to your park otherwise, who joyfully got invited by that one person, right? So that's a huge opportunity. And with parents coming and how accessible cell phones are and photos and how quickly it is to share those on social media with family and friends, just to have a logo in the background of each party room or party area would be big, so that those watching and looking at those photos and videos online can see where you're at. Because there were times where I feel like we didn't see any kind of branding or anything like that.
Yeah, it was interesting, and then others who really did well and had their branding, their logo, whether their wallpaper or their mural, just done really well. There certainly is an opportunity for parks to do some local printing, but as Funspot, we do have a whole in-house printing capabilities. We can print on vinyl, we can print on stickers, we can do fat heads. Really,
and we can design it all too.
Yeah, we have an in-house graphics team. So if that is something that you'd like to do to spend a little money around the marketing side as guests come back, please reach out. We'd love to help out any way we can.
Yeah, and we also have access to do these dye sublimated stretch fabrics and have access to vendors that do those, which there are a couple different ways to do a party room these days. And it really depends on market, right? Whatever you think your market might respond best to, or maybe what even your competition is doing. But I sort of tend to lean towards not having necessarily an enclosed room, like really private. I think kids really enjoy being part of the action still, but having some sort of visual divider. It may not be a physical wall or barrier, but having some sort of visual barrier between party rooms, I think, kind of gives it that privacy, but also keeps them action.
Like a party cubby, almost like. I know Boost does that. They have the dividers, and it's like 5 or 6 of them there, and that works really, really well with their party situation there.
Yeah, imagine taking like a piece of stretch fabric and putting it up in the air, suspended from the ceiling, and they stretch, and it looks like a sail on a sailboat kind of. You've got your big logo and graphic printed, and those look really, really good. And we have some clients doing those now. And I think it just adds so much to the party itself, being able to give it a little bit of privacy, but still be part of the action.
And it becomes your little photo booth too, where you can take selfies in front of it and stuff. Go ahead, Scott. Sorry.
Yeah, just a nice way to segment with not, having to build out
Mm.
walls and doors and things like that. So that was a couple of things that we saw. The other was, people were cleaning. I mean, like I said, we were in a dozen parks, and people, the owners and operators and GMs and the staff were really taking seriously wiping down, cleaning, social distancing, physical distancing. And so that was really great to see. I think that's, as we talked about with Josh Liebman last week, that is just really important to be present and being able to see that physically.
Are you guys
behind the scenes, but now it's got to be more visible.
Are you guys seeing more and more people coming to the parks on your travels, or is it just different depending on where you are, or how's that going?
I think it was different, really, depending on where we were.
Right.
The tourist towns like Sevierville, which is in Gatlinburg, where Dollywood is, very busy parks, two very busy parks. Other towns, kind of still in that 30%, maybe up to 50% of previous year's sales, but seem to indicate the trend is going in the right direction each week over week.
Awesome.
More and more people coming out, so that was great to see and hear.
Well, even though we probably hit Sevierville at the right time, it was a Saturday, it was rainy, peak summer tourist season. Even though that probably was an anomaly, even the owners there said that was an anomaly for them, that it hadn't quite been like that. But what it also showed was that there's this pent up demand, and customers don't mind coming back. And I think it's just going to take some time for that to spread throughout the country.
Yeah, if they were willing to be in that indoor facility in Sevierville, it means when they go back to their hometown, they're going to go play.
Yeah.
So I agree. That really, I think it spoke well to what I think we can expect.
What's the vibe out there from the owners and operators that you saw? Is it pretty upbeat? People feeling good about the direction things are going, and feeling good about the cleaning efforts they're making, and sanitization and stuff like that?
Matt?
Yeah, it's I think a mixed bag of emotions. I think there's a lot of hope. I think there's a lot of hope out there, and it's difficult for me. Like I have developed a relationship with a lot of these people throughout the years of working with them from the start of the process of figuring out whether opening the trampoline park is right for them, all the way till, some of them have been open 2 and 3 years. Mm-hmm. So to see them in this time really struggle with not having the sales of like what they did last year, but many of them have been really fiscally responsible to be able to weather this storm. I think that was a consistent trend that we saw throughout our trip.
Yeah,
is that people had really planned and did the right things, and had also been upgrading their parks.
Okay.
Sky's the Limit had since opening had added 10,000 square feet onto the back of their building and added new attractions to keep them fresh and relevant. And even though that had opened for just a little bit of time before COVID, that had really paid dividends and got more customers into the park before this happened, so that they had a little bit of extra money saved up. And they'll be
a really nice indoor playground that we installed, and a zip line, right?
Yeah. So they'll really be able to open back up with a bang and have those new attractions ready for their guests when they start to come back. So, everybody's hopeful, and it's just going to take time, and they realize that. Everybody's sort of hoping that this vaccine comes around sooner than later, and I think that's true. It's going to happen, and people will get back out there and jump again. So.
Sure.
Yeah, it was encouraging to hear owners be forward thinking. We were at Extremenasium in Clarksville, Indiana, right? Did I get that right, Matt?
Clarksville, Indiana. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we walked through his park. It's a really good looking park. He's like, well, what can we do? How can we continue to make sure this is relevant? The attractions are fresh, and make sure our guests are really experiencing the best of what can be. So that was really good to see. And
that's great. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, and just for everybody that is listening, if you are in a situation that you have questions or whatever, we're all here for you. I'll make sure I put everybody's contact down into the show notes. We are here to help however we possibly can. If it's upgrade your park, if it's figure out a resolve for your foam, if it's whatever. We have really been, the whole entire Funspot team has really been putting their brains into this to try to figure out how to make things a little less inconvenient for you during these times. So, but with that being said, we did really recently launch something pretty awesome, and I just wanted to touch base with Matt. Really, Zumba has launched. We finally got it out there. It's finally parading around. Everybody sees it out there, and we've gotten quite a response about Zumba. Is there anything else that you might want people to know, or how to contact you? I mean, again, I'll put it down in the show notes, but is there anything you want them to know about Zumba while we have their ear?
Well, having done several demos now on the road, and then since the launch of Zumba, the response has been incredible, which has been super reassuring to me. You know, we went into developing this app thinking there was this need for it. We had heard there was this need for it. Now we're sort of confirming that idea, and that's been really reassuring and encouraging to know that our customers and everybody in the industry really want it. Really, like, the big takeaways for me is that, you know, post-COVID, you know, labor is one of, Scott knows this from running a park, labor is one of your most expensive ticket items when it comes to your P&L, you know, and what can you do to have a big impact on that? And unfortunately, getting rid of staff isn't always the best thing for a trampoline park, especially when it's such a risk, you know, management business.
Mm-hmm.
So I think having a software to help with maintenance and inspection, to keep track of those things, which oftentimes is sometimes a single role required in a park, could help offset that, maybe not completely replace it. And then also the court monitor training that goes along with it. You know, having that access to a library of videos really will help you have an ROI if you're spending time to do that now with a person in the park to train those staff. And you get that consistency and continuity every time to be assured that your court monitors are being trained by the manufacturer the same way each and every time. They're quizzed, and all of that is recorded, so you have historical data to look back to if you need to. So we've talked to so many people, and they've been asking for this, and they're really, really excited about it. We just did a demo for a client down in South America who has 115 FECs.
No big deal.
Yeah. I mean, his response is like, I mean, I could literally save millions in payroll, you know, to just have one software managed by a few people, rather have, you know, people chasing around paper all the time. You know, that's how he was. I mean, they were operating large FECs on paper and pencil and filing it away in a cabinet. It just, after seeing Zumba, it finally clicked with him of how he could really use this to transform the way he does business. And so he's super excited about it. And we're excited to hopefully get him a demo and get it in his hands for all 115 locations.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a trip down to Patagonia either.
Yeah, right. No, I think for 115 FECs, I think we can manage to get you a trip. Yeah. Scott, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
It's a tool that is good for the single park owner operator, but it again, like for this particular customer down in South America, is for the multi-site operator, because of the levels of hierarchy, which you can see in the accountability that comes with it. One of the things I love about it, at being a former operator, is just the accountability. Is I know every day that those inspections got done. I know anytime a ticket that was put in for a failed attraction, that's being followed up on, and it's not just shuffling paper and putting, you know, thumbtack of Post-it notes up on your board to try and track these things. It's real time, it's documented, and if done right, is very defensible in the case of an incident. And all of that together, just I'm excited to have this product out. So, you know, if you haven't seen it yet, we'd love for you to go back in the episodes and watch the podcast, and then contact us. And
and we're also putting together some very good videos and like demo videos and things of that nature. But I think the best way to actually see this is to get in touch with Matt and let him demo it for you, because he's he's got a little pony show going now. He's practiced. He has costumes and everything involved. It's really funny. So lots of mustaches involved, right? So so but no, I know that the insurance companies are pretty high on it too. So it helps out in very many areas, but let's let Matt do his little show. And the lighting effects that you have for your show are amazing. I just want to put that out there.
You're really overselling it.
I'm adding a fog machine and lasers, so get ready.
Yeah, I mean, watch it now before you have to start paying admission to get to the show. So
Is there big hair and stretchy pants?
Uh-huh. Big hair and stretchy
hair, and kind of like a screamo band of the '70s.
Yeah, sure.
Oh man, there's MC Hammer music, everything. So
that's Zumba.
That's Zumba. And guys, I mean, we have so much going on. We've during this time, we've also had the foam pit cover that we're still. I mean, that had a great response. It helps people. Scott, you can explain this better than I can. I know how to tell people the story, but you can tell the story better than I can.
The short answer is, as February and March and really into April, the whole talk around foam and how clean is foam, which foam is fun for kids and really a pain for an operator.
Right.
That's always been, how we talk about it. But today, foam is even more quote unquote dirty. There's just it's just not easy to present it as
it has a stigma.
As really clean. Yeah. That's not to say when we were out on our tour, we saw, people jumping in foam, and, so it's a localized, personal decision whether that's okay. But the request was, and some states have, and even countries, I think over in the UK, you can't have foam.
Oh,
and
really?
So, yeah. So you've got to do something with it. And so we saw attractions that were closed in Virginia. Foam pit attractions were closed, which in some parts could be, 30, 40, up to 50% of their attractions have some sort of foam pit involved in it. So lots of caution tape, which says to the consumer, the guest, hey, we're out looking out for your safety. We're following the local and state and federal guidelines. So that's a positive, but in the end, you got to get those open. So the idea of a top cover came out. We worked together with a manufacturer to come up with a tested, safe airbag top cover that can be retrofitted over foam, and then be ready for a future airbag. It's for low impact foam pits. So that would mean your battle beam, your fidget ladder, a ninja course that has foam, where you'd fall onto that. Those types of attractions can utilize this particular top cover over foam solution. It's $15 a square foot. It's
very affordable.
Cover. It's antiviral. It cleans very easily. You put your logo on it. It can even be blacklight reflective. It's a great solution. It is not a solution for trampoline entry or what we call high impact entry. That still requires either a full airbag solution or keeping your loose foam open. So, and that's, manufacturers were still continuing to test and work with inspectors and local experts to determine what the best way, other solutions that might be available for foam. But right now it's an airbag top cover to cover your foam in low impact foam pits. And we'd love to talk with you about it, help you get those particular battle beam, fidget ladder type attractions open quicker.
Yeah, and also to help folks out, our friends over at Rugged Interactive have really worked hard with us to put together some nice little deals and things like that. How about we touch on that? They have 3 main attractions. Matt, do you want to touch on this, or Scott, whichever?
Yeah, I'd love to. That was one common recurring theme of visiting these parks when we were asked, hey, what should we do to upgrade the park? And really, in my opinion, the trend within an indoor adventure park or trampoline park is really to make things competitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
That that social experience of going to a trampoline park, of competing against your friend or friends in a game of dodgeball has always been one of the most popular attractions. Now, Rugged Interactive has really made that uh, even better with having different attractions like a Dodge Attack, a product that you can install on an existing dodgeball court to really totally renovate the game of dodgeball, where you're really playing a target game. Actually, somebody told me it was a lot like Quidditch or something, which I thought that was cool for all you Harry Potter fans. But without a golden snitch and broomsticks, of course. So
What? No broomsticks?
They're in your mind. They're in your
I'm
mind.
really showing my nerdy side right now. I'm also rereading it. I'm looking at the book on my shelf. So I love Dodge Attack. And also from the creation of Dodge Attack, we realized that we could create a couple new games out of using those targets as well. One of those is head to head. I loved head to head. It's a lot more like close combat almost. So you have two trampolines, and you would be facing each other, you and an opponent. And there was this old school game called, what was it called? Aero ball? I forget.
Cage ball. It was cage ball.
Cage ball. But and you threw the ball in a hoop, and essentially this is the same, but you're hitting a target. A little bit easier to do. The opponent can block the ball from hitting their target, and vice versa. And it's really a 1 to 2 minute fast action pace game, just to score as many points. And then you could build onto that. If you wanted to do a team of 3, you could have 3v3 with 3 trampolines on either side, or 2 if you wanted to. So you could kind of mix match however you want, depending on what space you have. And also kind of a great game for a small footprint, which is great. A lot of action in a small footprint, or potentially reuse some of the existing trampolines that you have in your park somewhere to add that activity. Aerostrike is a new game, which I sort of compare this to, like if you go to a Dave and Buster's and you go up to a basketball hoop game, you and your friend are trying to score as many hoops as possible. You could have these lined up and you're literally trying to shoot a basketball into a hoop and it's keeping score for you. And you can have those side by side so that you're not trying to get it into your opponents, or you can face them towards each other so you're shooting at each hoop, which is more like the traditional cage ball. Let's see, power play. Love power play. Power play doesn't involve trampolines at all, so it really sort of starts to think outside the box and really start to create this unique sports and adventure park environment for your location. And that's on an air track. Air tracks were kind of new to me. Since we've just lived in this bubble of trampolines for a while, when air tracks came around, I thought those were really cool and created a unique experience. So imagine sort of like a soccer pitch, or football pitch, as my Rugged Interactive mates would rather me say, and having goals on either side and having targets to hit. And you can play, 5v5 with a goalie, or you can even play handball on the air track in that court as well, all surrounded by netting and everything. So I really love that. And then their traditional products, if you don't have these already, Cardio Wall Duo and High 9, which, again, kind of to reference that arcade analogy, if you've ever played whack-a-mole, it's kind of like that on trampolines, and you're jumping up and down. And this was something me and Scott did at Heath, Ohio. Yeah, Altitude Heath, Ohio. And dude, it wore me.
Where's you out?
Yeah, that's why they call it Cardio Wall Duo. I ran a marathon back in April, and I'm like huffing and puffing, getting off that thing after a minute of jumping up and down. So I really think that competition, all these games are scored, timed, and competitive, and just attractive to that age demographic that's coming to the park now. I think really important going forward to add to your adventure park.
Yeah, the gamification and competition within a park is really changing. And so what we were able to do is work with Rugged, and we have some of the products that we can put into your park for under 25K, right about 25K, either placing them off of a main court, putting them up against a wall, and then utilizing an air track. And so you still get some of that bounce and some of the gamification into your park. You're adding a new attraction without the additional expense right now of adding in platform and trampolines. And so, starting there and then going all the way up to, any kind of retrofits that you would would need with the rugged products. And then selfie cam. We've just installed our first selfie cam down in Kissimmee, Florida, at an altitude park, and so they'll open up likely early October, and we'll get to see that. I know that, in talking with Robin, our rep over in the UK, where a park that had selfie cam closed and now has reopened selfie cam with new guests coming in, that their curve of use has gone way up, and selfie cam is a social share, fun video marketing tool. So it's both active fun and it's a marketing tool. So excited to share that with people who would be interested in that. And you can put that over an AirTrack, or you can put it, again, depending on your layout, on an existing trampoline.
Yeah, it's like it like automatically boomerangs the video right for you.
Yep.
And all you gotta do is scan the QR code on your phone, and you have access to as many photos or I guess videos that you took, right?
Yeah.
And share any of those anytime. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah. So we've worked hard to get some affordable attractions for people to do some new, fresh stuff coming in, and we're happy to get on the phone, to do a Zoom call, and even travel to those who might have some interest in adding some of these. I'd be remiss if I didn't also say, Valo Jump and Valo Climb are two from Valo Motion, are two other products that are extremely popular and interactive for your park, and again can be added to existing trampolines depending on your layout and where you can put them. So we'll have links to all those different products in the show notes for this show, and just excited to be bringing them. And I'm in this time where I'm spending a lot of time on LinkedIn, and I would love for you to follow myself, follow Funspot, follow Matt now on LinkedIn as well. There's just a lot of marketing going on, and so there's quite a few products that I think coming into early 2021 will be exciting to be able to add into our mix. They're interactive, gamified, using technology with trampolines, and it's just going to be a lot of fun to see what happens in these newer Gen almost 7, I would guess.
Yeah, we're getting
parks as we go into 2021. These mixed use facilities, because we're not only trampolines, we're trampolines, we're ninja courses, we're ropes courses, we're climbing features with clip and climb. We're bouldering walls with Entreprise climbing walls, which is a world-class leader in climbing walls. So we've got lots of great partners and things that we can do.
Don't want to miss the opportunity to talk about playgrounds.
And playgrounds. Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah. So we in 2020 started doing kids playgrounds, and we've got 6 or 8 of them up in parks right now, and it's the ones that were open prior to COVID closing them down were extremely popular. I mean, kids crawling all over them. It gives you opportunity to do membership toddler times for moms with kids that can just sit, and they're created with the kids play, and then the kids trampoline area in a specific space. It's great addition.
Yeah, and I like it because a lot of people are going to be looking for additional ways to generate revenue, right? How am I going to get more guests into my park? And keeping your park refreshed with activities like a ninja course or rugged interactive products do excite people to come back and keep your park fresh. But those appeal to really that same core demographic. Mm-hmm. So I think the playground, or sometimes as people call them soft play playgrounds, mm-hmm. really brings in a whole new demographic that you may not have had access to before. Because I know one complaint of some of our, early generation trampoline parks, even though they may have had a toddler time, was, okay, they had to focus their attention on coming from, 10 to 1. Because otherwise, having a 4 or 5-year-old in a trampoline park at any other time with a bunch of rowdy, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds jumping around, to no fault of theirs, wasn't always the safest environment for those toddlers. And so having a dedicated space that they have access to during full complete business hours really is a game changer, right? So it really opens up the ability to make that much more revenue off of what normally isn't a significant investment.
Yeah, and I want to say also, as we just navigate work from home, that I've seen many trampoline adventure parks really work towards camps, having opportunities for parents who do work and have uh, elementary or middle school age children who are studying virtually 100% right now
Mhm.
or part time. I mean, to have a place for them to come and let their kid burn off some energy, whether that's call it PE or not, while parents have high-speed Wi-Fi, could sit down on a nice, comfortable couch or cafe area with their laptops and do some work undistracted. It is an opportunity, and I think as we look forward into the winter, I think those are going to be some more opportunities, and having some kids play is going to help you do that.
Absolutely. And we have so much to offer everybody. It's just absolutely amazing how our team really came together, and really we listened to what people were saying within the town halls that we had early on, and we took that and then we put our own imaginations into it, and with great leadership and things of that nature, we're able to really put together some pieces for the entire industry that can either upgrade your park, we can build you a new park if you need, or we can even just answer questions for you about cleaning or anything like that. We are here to help, no matter what your circumstances, is our main point in telling you all of this. We want you to have the greatest peace of mind and the greatest success that your park can possibly have. So, guys, is there anything else that you want people to know before we bid them farewell?
I'd just say, hey, I'd echo your words. We're here to be consultative. We've, between Matt and I, we have, I've got over 8 years in the industry. Matt's got over 6 as a manufacturer. We've got Nate, who also has a lot, Scott Rice on our team. And then just the whole back end. I mean, there's, dozens of names of people that you'll never see or hear that help support us, and our wonderful vendor partners and sister companies through Abio that are here to help support you. So, no questions too small. We're happy to pick up our phone and have a chat, or do a Zoom or FaceTime and answer questions and just be available. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I could repeat everything he said, but that sounded
yeah, man. So that's what we're here, and we're looking forward to continuing to add value. I think we've got some great guests lined up over the next few weeks as we look into the rest of September and October. So stay tuned. We'll be here every Tuesday.